Have you ever felt that profound emptiness that comes after losing someone or something dear to you? It's that moment when the world feels like it's moving on, but you're stuck, holding on to memories, trying to make sense of a new reality. Loss can shake us to our core, leaving us searching for peace amidst the chaos of grief. Whether it's the death of a loved one, the end of a significant chapter in life, or an unexpected change that leaves a hole in your heart, it's in these moments that we often wonder, will I ever feel whole again? Grief has no timeline, no rule book. It can be overwhelming, isolating, and often unpredictable. But what if I told you that while the pain may never completely vanish, peace is possible, not by erasing the past, but by learning how to carry it with you as you move forward. Today, we're going to dive into how you can navigate through grief, find meaning in your loss, and ultimately reclaim peace in your life. This isn't about moving on, it's about healing at your own pace, in your own way. Let's begin this journey together. Point 1. Accepting the reality of loss. The first step in finding peace after loss is to accept the reality of what has happened. This doesn't mean you have to be okay with it, but rather you need to acknowledge it. In the early stages of grief, denial is common. Our minds often struggle to grasp the magnitude of the loss, and we may find ourselves in a state of disbelief, thinking this can't be real, or this didn't really happen. Denial is a protective mechanism, a way for the mind to guard itself against the shock. However, healing begins when you slowly start to face the truth of the situation. Acceptance doesn't mean the pain goes away. It means you are allowing yourself to process the loss rather than avoiding it. By acknowledging the loss, you're giving yourself permission to feel the emotions that come with it, whether that's sadness, anger, confusion, or even relief, depending on the circumstances. These emotions are valid and part of the journey. One way to facilitate acceptance is by expressing your feelings, either through journaling, talking with someone you trust, or even joining a support group. Sometimes saying things out loud or writing them down helps to make them more real, allowing you to gradually absorb the impact of what's happened. Additionally, acceptance doesn't mean forcing yourself to be strong all the time. It's okay to feel vulnerable, and it's okay to grieve. Acceptance is about facing the reality that life has changed. It's the first crucial step toward finding peace, because only when we face the truth can we begin to heal. Over time, this step allows you to move forward, slowly but surely, without losing sight of the memories or the love tied to the loss. Point 2. Honoring the memory. Once you've begun to accept the reality of the loss, the next step in finding peace is learning how to honor the memory of what or who has been lost. Grief is not about forgetting, it's about remembering in a way that brings comfort rather than pain. It's a way of keeping the love or the significance of that person, relationship, or chapter of your life alive, while still allowing yourself to move forward. Honoring a memory can take many forms, and it's a deeply personal process. Some people find solace in creating rituals, such as lighting a candle on special occasions, visiting a meaningful place, or setting aside a specific time to reflect on the impact that person or experience had on their life. These actions can offer a sense of connection and continuity, helping you feel that the bond isn't entirely broken, but transformed. For others, honoring the memory might involve creating something lasting. You could plant a tree in their name, create a scrapbook, or start a project that reflects their values or what they meant to you. If you've lost a loved one, writing letters to them, even though they can't read them, can help you process your emotions and maintain that emotional connection. Another way to honor a memory is by telling stories. Share the person's legacy or the lessons you've learned from that experience with others. Keeping their memory alive through storytelling allows you to keep a part of them present in your life. This can be especially healing, as it acknowledges that the person or experience shaped who you are. Honoring the memory is not about clinging to the past, but about finding a meaningful way to carry it forward. It's an act of love and respect that allows you to cherish the good while finding peace with the loss. Point 3. Seeking connection and support. Grief can be a profoundly isolating experience. After a significant loss, It's common to feel like no one truly understands what you're going through, even when surrounded by people who care. However, one of the most healing steps in finding peace after loss is reaching out and seeking connection and support. Healing doesn't happen in isolation. It flourishes in community and in shared experiences. Talking about your loss with someone who will listen, whether it's a close friend, family member, or even a therapist, can provide much-needed relief. Often, simply verbalizing your feelings makes them easier to bear. It doesn't mean you have to have the right words or even know how to explain your pain, but by sharing your story, you lighten the burden of carrying it alone. This can help you feel seen, heard, and less isolated in your grief. If speaking to a loved one feels too difficult, consider joining a support group. There's something powerful about being in the presence of others who are also navigating the turbulent waters of grief. Support groups offer a safe space to connect with people who understand, because they too have experienced loss. You may find comfort in their stories, and they in yours, creating a bond that helps ease the loneliness grief often brings. Another form of connection is to honor the legacy of the person or situation you've lost by engaging in activities or communities that resonate with their memory. For example, volunteering for a cause they cared about or continuing a tradition you shared with them can bring comfort and purpose in the face of pain. Seeking connection is about allowing others to help you carry the weight of your grief. It's not a sign of weakness, but of strength. Opening yourself to support, whether emotional, spiritual, or practical, can provide the grounding you need to heal and move forward. Point 4. Embracing a new normal. The final, and perhaps most challenging, step in finding peace after loss is learning to embrace a new normal. After experiencing a profound loss, life will never be exactly the same as it was before. The world as you knew it has shifted, and it can be difficult to accept that things won't return to the way they once were. However, finding peace requires allowing yourself to create a life that acknowledges the loss, but also opens the door to new possibilities. Embracing a new normal means accepting that your path has changed, and that's okay. This doesn't mean moving on or forgetting what was lost, but rather learning to live in a way that integrates the loss into your life. It's about making space for both grief and growth. You're not leaving the person or the past behind. You're carrying them with you in a way that allows you to continue living with purpose and meaning. Start by making small adjustments in your daily routine. You might have to let go of old habits that no longer serve you or that bring constant reminders of the loss. Instead, focus on establishing new routines or traditions that bring comfort and joy in your current circumstances. Even small changes, like finding a new hobby, adjusting your workspace, or creating new rituals, can help you feel more grounded in this new phase of life. It's also important to be patient with yourself. Grief is not linear, and there will be days when the weight of the loss feels heavier than others. But over time, as you continue to adapt, the new normal will begin to feel more familiar. Gradually, you'll find that joy can coexist with grief, and that you have the strength to rebuild your life while still holding space for what you've lost. Embracing a new normal is not about letting go of the past, but about allowing yourself to live fully in the present, even with the pain of loss. It's a sign of resilience and hope, and a key step in finding lasting peace. Point 5. Allowing yourself to find joy. Again, one of the hardest things to navigate after a loss is the feeling that it's somehow wrong or disrespectful to experience joy again. The weight of grief can make happiness feel distant or even undeserved. However, finding peace after loss also means giving yourself permission to embrace joy without guilt. It's not about moving on from the memory of what or who was lost. It's about recognizing that joy and sorrow can coexist. Grief often brings with it a spectrum of emotions, and allowing yourself to feel joy doesn't mean you are forgetting or dishonoring your loss. It simply means you're allowing yourself to heal. Joy can come in small, unexpected moments. A sunny day, a conversation with a friend, a favorite song playing on the radio. These moments don't erase the pain but serve as reminders that life is still capable of bringing happiness. It's It's important to remember that seeking joy doesn't mean you're no longer grieving. It's not a betrayal of the person or thing you've lost. It's a necessary part of living. You are not dishonoring their memory by smiling or laughing. In fact, finding joy again can be a way to honor the life or experience you cherished. Think of it as a balance. You carry grief in one hand and joy in the other. And it's okay for both to have space in your heart. Start by doing things that once made you happy, even if they don't feel the same at first. Maybe it's reading a favorite book, spending time in nature, or engaging in a creative activity. As you open yourself up to these experiences, the small moments of joy will gradually grow. Over time, joy can become a source of strength, allowing you to navigate your grief while still embracing life. By allowing yourself to feel joy, you are giving yourself the gift of healing. It's a reminder that life continues and that peace can be found not in the absence of pain, but in the presence of hope and the willingness to embrace happiness again, even after loss. Point 6. Practicing self-compassion. Grieving is an intensely personal journey, and along the way, you may find yourself struggling with self-judgment or frustration over how long it takes to heal. This is why practicing self-compassion is crucial in finding peace after loss. Loss is not something you can get over or fix on a specific timeline. Instead, it's something you learn to live with, and giving yourself grace during this process is one of the most loving things you can do. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness, understanding, and patience that you would offer a dear friend. Too often, we become our harshest critics, expecting ourselves to be strong or move on before we're ready. But the reality is, grief has no deadlines, and it's okay to have days where you feel lost, sad, or even angry. What's important is to honor those feelings instead of punishing yourself for them. A key part of practicing self-compassion is allowing yourself to rest. Grief is exhausting, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. It's okay to take a step back, cancel plans, or simply do nothing if that's what you need. Taking care of your emotional well-being also involves setting boundaries, particularly with people who may not fully understand your grief or who push you to move forward before you're ready. Mindfulness and self-care are also essential aspects of self-compassion. Take time each day to check in with yourself. How are you feeling? What do you need? Whether it's meditation, journaling, going for a walk, or simply sitting quietly with your thoughts, these small acts of care help you reconnect with yourself in a gentle way. Remember that grief is not a sign of weakness. It's a reflection of love and loss, and those emotions are part of what make us human. Being kind to yourself, forgiving yourself for any setbacks, and accepting that your healing will take time are all acts of strength. By practicing self-compassion, you create space for peace to grow, even in the midst of your pain. Point 7. Finding meaning and purpose. After experiencing a significant loss, one of the profound ways to find peace is by seeking and creating meaning and purpose in your life. This doesn't mean that the loss itself has to make sense, but rather that you can find ways to integrate it into your life in a way that fosters growth and fulfillment. Finding meaning often involves reflecting on the impact the loss has had on your life and identifying ways to honor that impact constructively. For instance, you might discover that the experience has shifted your perspective or values. This realization can lead you to pursue new goals or engage in activities that align with your newly discovered purpose. Whether it's volunteering, advocating for a cause related to your loss, or simply living in a way that reflects the values or lessons you've learned, these actions can imbue your life with a sense of direction and meaning. Another aspect of finding meaning is setting personal goals that resonate with your inner self. This might involve pursuing a new passion, strengthening relationships, or exploring interests you previously set aside. Engaging in these activities can provide a sense of accomplishment and joy, helping you to reconnect with yourself and your sense of purpose. It's also valuable to find ways to make a positive impact in honor of what you've lost. For example, if you've lost a loved one, consider creating a scholarship, starting a charity, or supporting a cause they cared about. These actions can provide a tangible way to channel your grief into something that helps others, creating a legacy that continues their influence in a meaningful way Ultimately, finding meaning and purpose is about transforming the pain of loss into a source of strength and inspiration. It's about acknowledging the deep impact the loss has had on your life and using that awareness to drive positive change, both for yourself and for others. This process doesn't erase the grief, but provides a pathway to create a life that honors the past while embracing the future. Point 8, embracing flexibility and patience. Navigating through grief and finding peace after loss requires embracing flexibility and patience with yourself. Grieving is a non-linear process. It doesn't follow a predictable path and often involves unexpected emotional highs and lows. Understanding and accepting this fluidity can help you approach your healing journey with greater ease and less self-judgment. Flexibility means being open to the fact that your emotions and needs may change from day to day. One day you might feel ready to engage with new activities or social interactions, while the next you may need solitude and rest. It's important to listen to your own needs and adjust your expectations accordingly. Trying to force yourself into a normal routine or adhering strictly to what you think you should be doing can add unnecessary pressure. Instead, allow yourself the freedom to adapt as needed. Patience is equally crucial. Healing from loss doesn't happen on a set schedule, and there's no right way to grieve. Some days will be more challenging than others, and it's important to recognize that this is a natural part of the process. Be patient with yourself, acknowledging that healing takes time and that it's okay to have setbacks or slow progress. It can also be helpful to set small, achievable goals that align with your current emotional state. Instead of focusing on a distant future where everything is back to normal, concentrate on daily or weekly goals that reflect your present capabilities. Celebrate small victories and be gentle with yourself during setbacks. Embracing flexibility and patience means giving yourself permission to move through grief at your own pace and in your own way. It involves acknowledging that healing is a dynamic process with its own rhythm. By practicing these principles, you can create a more compassionate and supportive environment for yourself as you work toward finding peace and adjusting to life after loss. Point 9, creating a legacy of love. Creating a legacy of love is a profound way to find peace after loss. This involves honoring the memory of what or who you've lost by making a positive impact that reflects the values, passions, or influence of the person or experience. It's a way to ensure that their essence continues to touch lives and that their impact remains alive in meaningful ways. One approach to creating a legacy is to engage in activities that were important to the person you've lost. If they had a passion for a particular cause or hobby, consider continuing or supporting that interest. This might mean volunteering for a charity they cared about, participating in community events, or even starting your own initiative in their name. Such actions can create a sense of connection and purpose, turning your grief into something constructive and positive. Another way to create a legacy is through storytelling and sharing memories. Write down the stories, lessons, and experiences you had with them and share these with others. This could be through a blog, a social media page, or within a family history book. These stories not only preserve their memory but also allow others to understand and appreciate their impact. You might also consider tangible gestures, such as establishing a scholarship, funding a research project, or supporting a cause related to their values. These actions can leave a lasting mark on the world and create a ripple effect of positive change, reflecting the essence of what you've lost. Creating a legacy of love isn't about moving on from the loss, but about integrating it into a larger context of ongoing life. It's a way to channel your grief into actions that honor their memory and contribute to something meaningful. Through this process, you not only find peace, but also celebrate and perpetuate the enduring impact of what was lost. Point 10, embracing the journey of healing. Embracing the journey of healing is an essential aspect of finding peace after loss. Healing is not a destination, but a continuous process that evolves over time. It involves accepting that grief is a part of your life and that healing comes in waves, sometimes gradually, sometimes suddenly. One important aspect of embracing this journey is recognizing that it's okay to have mixed feelings. Some days may be filled with moments of clarity and acceptance, while others might bring unexpected waves of sorrow. Allow yourself to experience these fluctuations without judgment. It's normal for healing to be uneven, and accepting this reality can reduce the pressure you place on yourself to get over it quickly. Finding ways to express and process your emotions can also aid in your healing journey. Creative outlets such as art, music, or writing can provide a safe space for you to explore and express your feelings. Engaging in these activities allows you to channel your grief in constructive ways, helping you to understand and manage your emotions more effectively. It's also beneficial to set realistic expectations for yourself. Healing doesn't happen overnight, and it's important to give yourself permission to move at your own pace. Celebrate small milestones and recognize your progress, no matter how incremental it may seem. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a sign of growth. Additionally, integrating self-care practices into your routine can support your emotional well-being. Regular exercise, healthy eating, and sufficient rest contribute to overall mental health and can help you cope with the stresses of grief. Embracing the journey of healing means accepting that it's a personal and ongoing process. It's about allowing yourself the space and time to heal, knowing that it's okay to have setbacks and to seek support when needed. By acknowledging the ebb and flow of your emotions and practicing self-compassion, you create a supportive environment for healing and gradually find peace in your life.
In the wake of loss, the path to healing can feel overwhelming, but peace is possible. Grief, in all its complexity, doesn't follow a set timeline, nor does it mean leaving behind the memories or love tied to what's been lost. Instead, it's about finding ways to carry that loss with you, honoring the memory, and allowing space for both sorrow and joy to coexist. Acceptance of the loss is the first step, acknowledging that life has changed irreversibly. Through honoring the memory, seeking connection, and embracing a new normal, you create a foundation for healing. Self-compassion, patience, and the willingness to embrace both the pain and the moments of joy are essential for moving forward. Grief may never fully disappear, but you learn to integrate it into a life that still holds meaning and purpose. Ultimately, finding peace after loss is about living with love and loss in harmony. By creating a legacy, honoring what was meaningful, and embracing the journey of healing, you allow yourself to not only survive, but thrive in the face of adversity. Healing isn't about forgetting, it's about finding strength in remembering and moving forward with hope.